So, Matty Crowther, first week of Preseason 2025, bit of a different one. Obviously, it's been a short turnaround since the grand final, with it finishing so late and towards the back end of November, and we're only just starting Preseason. A little bit of a different feel.
Yeah, absolutely. New personnel in, obviously players wise, a little bit of a turnaround. Short off season, considering we finished really well and strong and got the job done. So, but yeah, great to see all the new players and welcome in this week.
What's it been like first couple of days?
Great, yeah, they've settled in really well. A lot of the lads know each other anyway, and we've had them in for a sort of a planning week the week before. And the coaching staff have got into them to talk about the calls and everything like that, and we've sort of done a few medicals on them, and Coops has got his eyes on them from a physical perspective. So yeah, really, really good, and they seem to be a great bunch of lads.
You enjoy coming back in that first week of pre-season, that excitement, getting back around, obviously the rest of the coaching team, but also the players.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I like me time off with the family, holidays, as everybody does, but I also love my job, and it's great to be back into the routine, as we call it.
Looking ahead, looking at the boys, and obviously the players that have come back in, a couple of injuries that people might be aware of or maybe not aware of, obviously carrying it into the pre-season. First up, probably the one long-term injury that we were carrying from last year, obviously Miles Lawford blew out his ACL middle of the season. How's Miles? How's he coming along? How's the injury kind of developing?
Yeah, tough injury for Miles, obviously, throughout the season for him, but he's in fact the last month he's come on really well. Sometimes it can be a little bit slow to start with, getting over the surgery and stuff, but his rehabilitation with Alex, our assistant physio, has been unbelievable. He's just left him in the gym now, doing his lowers, and he's sort of turned a real good corner and started to even run on the field this week, which he's done some auto-G in his off-season. The thing is, for these lads, they don't really get a massive off-season because they're doing the rehab bits all the way through. But he's been class and doing really well at the moment.
What's sort of the timescale for potentially seeing Miles back on the field?
It's always a tough one. He has to pass his markers for a return to play sort of later down the line. And obviously you're looking between 6 and 9 months, and normally with the young kids we take them close to the 9 months. But yeah, he's doing really well, and I think we put our sights on somewhere around April, May for him. So, and sometimes shave a month off that, sometimes a little bit longer, but it depends on how the return to play goes.
Yeah, another one that obviously ended the season in your physio room, Isaac Shaw, obviously coming back from a long-term syndesmosis, just kind of were getting his foot in the team and getting a run of games, and unfortunately picked up that injury. How's he kind of going with all that?
Yeah, good. He's been back in with the team this week. So as you say, unfortunate for him, he missed a little bit of last year and the year before with 1 or 2 injuries that needed surgery. Sometimes for these young lads, it's hard to get over quickly, but we've given him the time. And again, he had one of the top surgeons that did the job with him again, and he's flying at the minute. So he's done a couple of team sessions, modified. Obviously, but he's back in, and I expect him to be back in full training in the next sort of week or 2.
Is it important for these younger guys just to look after them maybe a little bit more than you would maybe the seasoned vets and the professionals that have been in the game a little bit longer?
Yeah, I don't think it's a case of looking after them a little bit more. They almost know their own bodies a little bit better than the seasoned professionals, and you can almost be judged a little bit by what they're like and how they respond to things. The guys that haven't had a lot of surgeries, it's hard for their bodies to get over, and it's a little bit of a shock at first. But Isaac's had a couple now in the last 18 months, so he'll be getting used to it. But really excited to see him have a pre-season, which he's not had for a couple of years. And the pre-season is where you build your base, and a lot of these lads shine in the season because they've had a good pre-season, and hopefully Isaac can do that as well.
Josh Griffin obviously missed the grand final with a groin injury. We've not seen him back yet this week, but just give us an update on how Griff's getting on. Yeah,
unfortunately Josh ruptured his adductor in our semi, which required surgery. There were no way around it. He had to have that done, which meant he had to be booked in at the beginning of sort of November. Not been in quite yet, can't do anything for another few days to a week, so we'll be starting with him next week, but he's just really sat at home recovering from his surgery. He's had it done down in London from a specialist, and then we can start his rehabilitation next week.
What's the kind of timescale on him coming back, getting in training and?
Yeah, the return to play, it's a longish one. It's usually around 3 months, 4 months in a game like ours with Rugby League. So, and again, he's got to pass all his markers to get back. So we'll see how he goes.
How is Griffin himself? Obviously, we know he's not. He loves to be out on the field and kind of in and around the boys, doesn't he?
Yeah, gutted really, because it's the injury came, especially the week before the grand final, when I think he'd played a lot of games for this year, and he was good in keeping fit. So, and he's had a few in the past as well, which has affected him. So he was absolutely gutted. But he's seen the best surgeon in the country that's done the job. So hopefully we can get him back on track as soon as possible.
An off-season surgery some people might not be aware of. Obviously, Thomas Doyle, he's had an operation on his shoulder. Just give us the update on what happened there with Doyle.
A lot of people won't know, but he did this injury playing at Sidall back in January last year. Yeah, so he had a few weeks off after that. It was to his AC joint, which a lot of rugby league players get, and he did it tough all year playing with that, but never really moaned once. Just the type of lad that Doyle is. And just continued to play and train. And if you watch him in training, he hits people hard. So for him to do that, what a testament to him really. But we needed to sort that out at the end of the season. He's a young lad, up and coming young lad, so we wanted to get that sorted out. And again, he'll be about ready for the start of the season, hopefully.
That's incredibly tough to go that long with such an injury. Just shows his level of toughness, doesn't it really, and kind of the bloke that he is.
There's a lot of things that people outside of the club don't see and outside Rugby League, but it happens at most clubs. There are some players that can do it, and obviously Doyle is one of them.
Yeah, an injured player coming into the club. Obviously, the return of Tom Johnstone. Fans will have obviously seen him go down injured in a game against with Catalan. What's the scenario with Tom? Where is he in his level of recovery?
Yeah, he fractured his fibular bone in his lower leg in that game against Castleford in July last year. Obviously, the type of lad that Tom is, wanted to get back for his international duty. So at Catalan they tried to get him back. Unfortunately, that didn't work. So we had to get him to have his surgery over here. He needed a plate putting in it to strengthen it. Spent a bit of time with Tom this last month, and he's doing really well. So he'll be back running on the AlterG machine this week, back end of the week, and then his transition to the field will come in the next few weeks. So you wouldn't expect him to be much longer than after Christmas, sort of returning to the field and hopefully starting the season.
It's great to have a player like Tom back at the club. Obviously, the exciting player that he is on the field with the acrobatics and the long range efforts that he can really bring to a team.
Oh, absolutely. I've worked with Tom on international duty, so I do know him before that, and his career's just gone from strength to strength. And don't forget, he's had some horrendous injuries, and the Wakefield fans will know that they were here at Wakefield, and credit to the staff here at that point. They've got him back, and since then he's not missed much, and I think this has come out of the blue at one of them injuries that you probably can't help, just an unlucky one. But I'm sure Tom, with his diligence in his rehabilitation and how professional he is, will 100% bring him back in good spirit.
Another man that you've worked with before is maybe having a little bit of an extended break after his international duties with England, Mike McMeeken. We're just giving him that little bit extra time to recover, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Mike's all good. I've had a couple of chats with him. Yeah, he's been away with his family after the international duty period, and he can't wait to get back in. And again, Mike's just the ultimate professional in everything he does in an athlete, and he'll come back in good shape.
He loves getting stuck in with pre-season, doesn't he? He's another one that just loves to be out there, loves being in and around the boys, and loves kind of getting in the midst of it with contact as well.
Yeah, he loves the gym. I mean, we signed him back in, when he was only 22, I think he's put about 20 kilograms on since then, and but he's the ultimate professional and doesn't leave no stone unturned with his nutrition and everything. So he's another great signing.
Eagle-eyed fans will obviously be looking at videos and pictures that we're putting out on social media of pre-season, and they'll be trying to see who they can spot and who they can't spot. Two players that they won't be seeing at the moment, but will be in a couple of weeks, is Mason Leno and Renew for Tony. Those guys are just over in Australia, aren't they? Just enjoying time with their family.
Yeah, absolutely. Renz is due back, I do believe, in the next couple of days. So his flights were booked for just this midweek, which we give him a few more days because our season went on too long to spend with his family. But been in touch with him, he's all good, doing his extras and his little bits of off-season training before he gets back into it. So it'll be great to see his smiling face playing the music around the place in the next couple of days. Mason obviously finished the season quite strong with us after having an indifferent season. But yeah, again, I've been in touch with him. He's been training out there, and he gets back on Sunday, I believe, this week. So really, he'll only have missed a week, and we can sort of transition him back in next week and hopefully see the best of him.
How impressed have you been? We've not just the guys that are still away from the club, but the guys coming back this week with the level of kind of their fitness and the professionalism that they've shown during the off season.
They've come back at a different level to what I've seen before, and whether that's because they haven't had a lot of time off, or whether it's the newness of Super League again and the squad that we've assembled. But yeah, they've come back in real good nick, and I think if you look around now, we've signed some athletes, so hopefully make our job a little bit easier. And we know what rugby league's like; it throws some things at you, but yeah, they've come back in real good shape.